Demand is defined as a consumer's willingness to pay a price for a specific good or service. In economics, the law of demand claims that everything being equal, the quantity of a good or service decreases when the price of that good increases. To help visualize demand better, we use a demand curve, which shows the relationship between the price of a good and the quantity demanded, displayed on a graph. The negative relationship between the price of goods and the quantity demanded explains the downward sloping curve. Take apples sold by farmer A, for example. If apples were to be sold at €6 per kg, the demand curve shows that there would be no demand at all. This is because the high price would put off consumers from purchasing. But, as the demand curve shows, as the price of apples per kg decreases, the quantity of apples demanded increases. If apples were sold at €1 per kg, the quantity of apples demanded would be 5 kg. But not every farmer may choose to sell their produce at the same price. We can see this for farmer B's demand curve. Like farmer A's demand curve, if he sold his apples at €6 per kg, the demand curve shows that there would be no demand whatsoever. But the demand curve shows that if the apples were sold at €1 per kg, the quantity of apples demanded would be 3 kg. Market demand is all of the individual demands for a particular good or service added together. Let's say farmer A and B were the only two people in the market. The quantity demanded in the market is the sum of the quantities demanded by all buyers at each price. This is illustrated on the graph and table here, which shows the market demand for apples with farmer A and B the only two contributors in the market. So far, the demand we have looked at has involved the condition of ceteris paribus, everything being equal. But this is not always the case. Certain influences cause shifts in the demand curve and movements along the demand curve. A change caused by certain factors affecting demand other than a change in price will be responsible for a shift in the demand curve. Such factors include the price of other related goods, population, tastes, advertising, and expectations of the consumer. Alternatively, a change in price, on the other hand, will cause a movement along the demand curve. Let's go back to the example of apples to explain this. We know that the price of apples falling will lead to an increase in quantity demanded. But why? Well, there are two reasons for this increase. The first is the income effect. Basically, assuming the incomes of consumers remain constant, a fall in prices of apples means that people can afford to buy more apples with their income. The second reason for this increase is the substitution effect. As apples are now lower in price than other products such as pears, the more expensive substitute, the pear, will be replaced by many consumers with the less expensive apple.